guys. Let's freaking go. Let's go. It's Niner time. Niner Nation, the Niner Empire. Let's freaking go. It is time to break down your schedule, your 2019 schedule, and we're going to have a lot of fun on this show. I am looking really forward to doing this show. Okay. San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers of San Francisco, one of my favorite teams. Jimmy Garoppolo is better than Russell Wilson. He's a better passer. He has really quick release. He is going to be awesome. I love Jimmy Garoppolo. He's going to come back strong. George Kittle. The additions of Tevin Coleman, the additions of Quan Alexander and Dee Ford off the edge, and you're going to be drafting either Bosa, Allen, or Williams. Preferably, I'd want Williams and DeForest Buckner in the middle of the field. Defensively, I believe that Verrett was added. So you have Witherspoon, Sherman, and Verrett. Safety-wise, you do need some help in the draft. But I think it's going to be great. I think it's really good. The 49ers can also draft another tall receiver to go along with Dante Pettis and Trent Taylor that I already like. I love this 49ers team. I liked them last year. They had the adversity of the Jimmy Garoppolo injury. Their team is a lot better now with Dee Ford and the linebacker Quan Alexander with Fred Warner coming off of another year. And now you finally add Tevin Coleman and Jerick McKinnon. Jerick McKinnon tore his ACL, so you had Matt Breida last year. And then Marquise Goodwin was out most of the year. George Kittle now emerged as the guy, and of course Jimmy Garoppolo returns, so this team should be a lot better. And then you look at the LA Rams. The LA Rams have a Todd Gurley that is dealing with I think some kidney issues, or dealing with issues right now, injury issues for his long-term future that don't look good. And you never want to root for injuries, but that's the reality. The LA Rams basically have won the division the past 2 years. When you win and get to a Super Bowl, you give less of a shit about the regular season. That is factual. Look at the Eagles. They sleptwalk. The Rams have killed the regular season. Why would you get excited for something that you have already destroyed? Even the Patriots mail in a lot of games in the regular season. They mailed in the Lions game. They mailed in the game at Tennessee. They mailed in games last year, the New England Patriots did. Even the Pittsburgh game was not really their full attention. So the Rams are the high and mighty. They've been that way for 2 years. They have a lot of roster turnover. They lose Robert Quinn. Andrew Whitworth is getting older. Roger Saffold left their team. When are the Rams going to dip, and when are the Niners going to take their place? And the Niners have sustainable success because their quarterback is signed, okay? Their long-term quarterback is in place. Their defense is young enough, has really good leadership. Their coaching staff is exactly the same. Even Matt LaFleur's brother, Mike LaFleur, is still on the staff. I'm not just saying this to please the Niner Empire. I really think the 49ers are going to be freaking awesome next year, okay? And now let's look at the schedule, which I think is not too bad. I looked at it yesterday, and we're going to do win-losses. We're going to have fun on this show. We're going to try to have fun. I hope you guys have a little bit of fun. First game of your season, you go to Tampa Bay, which is really interesting. We get Jameis Winston, Bruce Arians, the opening game. A little bit dicey because you don't know about the head coach. Tampa's going to be juiced up. To win this game would be awesome. I think you are going to do it. Then you go on the road to the Bengals. I think you can beat Bengals on the road. I do. I think you can be 2-0. Bengals you need to have. So you need to go 1-1 at least. If you're going to lose to the Bucs, then you got to be Bengals at least. Because Bengals are a wreck. You know, you don't know about Andy Dalton. It's a first-year coach. I think the Bengals they have a lot of work to do. They have a lot of holes. Their defense is older, out of place. Vontaze Burfict. They don't have a lot of talent on the Cincinnati Bengals, okay? Their offensive line is not too good. Bobby Hart's still starting on their O-line. They do have A.J. Green and Joe Mixon. I don't think their offensive line's that good. Their D-line is a little bit older, not that impressive. You have Dunlap, Geno Atkins. These are names, but again, their linebacking core is also terrible. It's just a rebuilding project there. Then you have the Pittsburgh Steelers at home. Very exciting game with Big Ben. I think the Steelers are better this year, but I still think you can beat them. I think you can also beat the Browns at home. I'm not too high on the Browns. It's Monday Night Football. I think your team's awesome, and I think the Browns are overhyped, okay? Then you go to the Rams. Probably a loss somewhere along these lines, right? Redskins on the road. Let's see if we hit any. Oh, yes, I think we're going to hit an easy stretch here. Redskins on the road, Panthers at home, Cardinals road, Seahawks home, Cardinals home. Wow, Packers home. Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. So basically, the 49ers are home for 3 straight games. You're home for you're home for the Seahawks. Okay, divisional game. You can beat Seattle, okay? Seattle's not as good of a roster. You also need to figure out a way to stop Kyler Murray and beat the Arizona Cardinals. And then you have the Green Bay Packers on your schedule as well. And you're all home for these games, so you get to relax. I think that that's beautiful. I think that is absolutely beautiful. Your bye week comes after the 4th game of the season, or after the 3rd game, which I don't particularly like. It's too early for a bye. I don't like that at all. But we move on, and we live life. Then we go to Baltimore. That's going to be tough. So then the Niners go to Baltimore, Saints. Falcons at home isn't the easiest game. Rams and at Seattle. So that is a brutal close. But again, the opening out of the gates, last year the 49ers had to go to Kansas City in the 3rd week. They also opened up at Minnesota, which really is always a tough game to play. So the 49ers, I remember early in that season, and then Garoppolo gets injured. They also had to go to Lambeau Field and play a game. The 49ers had a very difficult schedule. They get a lot of good home games. The road games are not brutal. Let's go through the schedule right now. Let's go through the simulation. So I got them beating the Buccaneers, and then they beat the Bengals, and they beat the Steelers. They're 3-0. Out of the bye week, they play the Browns. They're going to be 4-0. They're going to lose to the Rams on the road, 4-1. They beat the Redskins, 5-1. They beat the Panthers, 6-1. They beat the Cardinals, 7-1. They beat the Seahawks, 8-1. Cardinals, 9-1. Packers, 10-1. They go on the road. I'll give them a loss, 10-2. I'll give them a loss to the Saints, 10-3. I'll give them a win, 11-3 versus the Falcons. I'll give them wins versus the Rams and the Seattle Seahawks, which I think will be eliminated at that time. I'm going to give the 49ers the NFC East champ. I'm going to give the 49ers the NFC. I'm going to give them 13-3 this year for this season. I think the 49ers are going to be an unbelievable team. I think that they are perfect. I think it's going to be a 13-3. You can't have anybody get hurt. You got to get a better backup quarterback. I don't want to go for the same problems as last year. And it's time for the 49ers to execute and have a special year and win the freaking conference. And I look at the Cowboys. The Cowboys have a harder schedule than the 49ers do. The 49ers have a lot of home games. Their division isn't as good as the Dallas Cowboys. The NFC West isn't as good as the East, okay? The Cardinals and the Seahawks, okay? The Eagles and Giants and the Cowboys are all going to be vying for playoff football. Giants are in the playoffs. Cowboys are going to be getting a first-round bye and winning the NFC East. The Eagles might be like 9-7, 10-6, right in the wild card discussion, right peaking. So that division's really good. The Cardinals, I think right now, I haven't looked at their schedule, but they're probably 7-9. They're going to have splashes with Kyler Murray and 8-8, but I don't think that I really don't think that Vance Joseph and that defense is going to be professional. It's going to be just tremendous enough to make a run. I look at Seattle as very average, 7-9. They're just declining. I think Pete Carroll's getting a little bit stale. I think everything about their organization is stale. They don't have great talent. Their running backs are not good. Their defensive talent has really wavered. And Russell Wilson is getting paid so much money now. He's going to coast like Drew Brees. He's going to coast like Joe Flacco did, and they're going to be mediocre for the longest time. That was one of the worst moves their franchise has ever made, because for 4 years, they're punting on 4 years of shitty football. And then the LA Rams, the Rams may be a wild card, but I think you split with the Rams, so the Rams and the 49ers, but then I think you can go 4-2. I think that you beat Seattle twice and you beat the Cardinals twice, and then you play the Rams and you split and you win that home game, which is meaningful. There's a possibility the home game's meaningful at the end of the year, so I really think it's 4-2 in the division, and then the way you're starting out your season, the Bucs game is a huge game. If you lose that game, it could get rocky. But then Bengals and Steelers, you better win those games. But then you have a week off before playing your Monday night game against the Cleveland Browns. So you have a week off to let those to marinate and get ready to watch Baker Mayfield and get ready to take on this Cleveland team. Then you go on the road to the Rams, which, again, these games are not easy. Those are not easy games. But then the meat of your schedule, the middle of your schedule is when you surge. This is when you're going to surge. You're going to surge with the Redskins on the road, the Panthers at home, the Cardinals on the road, Seattle and the Cardinals at home. So how many games is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 5 games. You should hit a 5-game winning streak in the middle of the season, period. You need to go on a 5-game streak. Then you have the Packers, and you can win that game to build it to a 6. You can go on a 6-game winning streak. And if you beat the Bucs and the Bengals, you're already at 8 wins. Then the Saints will be hard, but who knows how the Saints will be at that point. Maybe the Saints have a brutal schedule. Probably the Saints aren't as good. Then the Falcons is hard, but you've beaten the Falcons at home before. You've done that. I love the way this schedule sets out. I think the 49ers win the NFC. This is a beautiful schedule. The 49ers are going to be absolutely awesome. 13-3. Let's book it right now. Booking it on Rover. Best team in the NFC.